Back. We're 7 weeks into the NFL season, and there isn't a division in football worse than the NFC East. After an embarrassing 25-3 loss to the Washington football team on Sunday, the Cowboys sit at third in the division behind only the lowly New York Giants. Since losing quarterback Dak Prescott to a season-ending ankle injury in Week 5, the Cowboys have gone 0-2, being outscored by a combined 63-13. With the Cowboys' struggles, many are calling for first-year head coach Mike McCarthy to be fired. For our second debate of the day, I'm joined by Marena Sever and Peterson to debate whether or not Mike McCarthy will last in Dallas.
I think Mike McCarthy absolutely is in jeopardy of losing his job, especially with the way that things are going right now. The NFC East is a blessing for the Cowboys because they have the opportunity, and Mike McCarthy has the opportunity to get a playoff team that would not contend in any other division, and he can't do it. And I think the biggest thing here is that I know that there are excuses. I know their offensive line has been decimated. I know Dak is gone. I know their defensive coordinator's scheme is like not getting through to the players, or they don't, whatever it is. I don't know. It's abysmal. I get it. But at the end of the day, they are lacking in leadership right now, and Mike McCarthy is not picking it up. And the biggest thing here is that Mike McCarthy was brought in to really they got rid of Jason Garrett. He'd been there 9 years, and they brought in Mike McCarthy to really pick things up. The Cowboys were stuck being good enough, and they didn't have the playoff, gravitas, if you will, to really get anything done to live up to their name. And they brought in Mike McCarthy to get them over that hump, and they're still stuck. They're worse than stuck. They don't even want to be there. And you watch these players take the field, and there's no energy. And you look at a team like Miami, for example, not a good football team by any means, but they get a little bit better every week. You see little glimpses every single week. They are buying into the coaching system. They're buying into where the progression of that team can be. And the Cowboys players just aren't doing it. And I think that is going to come down to Mike McCarthy not being prepared as a coach, not motivating these players the way that he needs to. And I think he's absolutely going to be out of a job come the end of the season.
See, now, I'm from Dallas.
Right.
So I've heard all the Jason Garrett talks, all the Jerry Jones talk, even the Dak talk last year. Mm-hmm. And you said the biggest point is leadership. They're lacking leadership. For me, I don't think Mike McCarthy is the biggest issue with leadership. The Cowboys are struggling defensively, like you said. There needs to be a change in the defensive coordinator. On the offensive side, they're terrible. For the simple fact that we have amazing assets. You have Zeke, you have CeeDee Lamb, who's one of the top recruits we've gotten, and then you have Amari Cooper. We trade, we get great players, we just don't know how to use them effectively. Does that mean it's Mike McCarthy's fault? Not exactly. They're losing because Zeke, for one, can't hold the ball the whole entire game. He's fumbling. He's doing all these terrible things. Amari Cooper and CeeDee Lamb are not getting the ball. Where you could say, well, it's because of the game plan. Yes, we are stuck in this running game, and we can't get out into the passing game. But also, let's look at Jason Garrett, because you have to use him. He's been there for 9 years. His first season, he started a little late, but he went 5-2. Right now, McCarthy is at 2-5, a quick little switch, but he has the potential to win at least 2 games. He's a new coach for the Cowboys. He doesn't know where the game plan is going. So I say give him 1 year, figure it out. He's still going to be a little slow next year because he's not going to have Dak, and that's another issue as well. You can't expect these quarterbacks to come in who have never played a game because Dak has been injured or Dak has just been able to play for 2 years straight. They got lucky with Dak when Tony Romo got hurt and he was able to get in because that's the mindset he had, okay, let me take this opportunity. Andy Dalton, terrible in general. He wouldn't be a good fit for any team right now. So I think it's more about the assets and using the assets to their full potential.
Yeah, I agree. I do think they still have a lot of offensive weapons. You talk about Cooper. I think Michael Gallup deserves a mention because he's a great second, third receiver. CeeDee Lamb, of course. And Ezekiel Elliott, he's regressing right in front of us right now. But he's still a traditionally great running back. There's just, again, I think it goes back to there is no drive for them to want to win. And even, again, the NFC East is a blessing for them because they have an opportunity to contend this year where they would never be able to. You're going to tell me that even with the offensive weapons that Dallas still has left and a backup quarterback who has a winning record as a starter in the NFL, he was faded. That's why the Bengals made the switch to inevitably Joe Burrow. But there's no reason that the Dallas Cowboys, even with what they have left, are not competing with Washington, Philadelphia, New York. They should be running those guys over. And I think it comes down to, I think it was Jane Slater is her name, who published a report with, she's a longtime NFL reporter covering the Cowboys, where a bunch of Cowboys players anonymously came forward and said their coaches aren't teaching, they don't want to play for them, they don't fit there, and it just, they're not learning anything, and it's not working, it's not clicking with them. And I think, yes, Mike McCarthy is a tenured coach. Yes, he has a Super Bowl ring 10 years ago, but still, that is, the ring's the thing kind of with him. So I think Mike McCarthy I honestly don't think he was a great hire for them in the first place. I was really shocked that they didn't go with someone younger, someone like super offensive minded, maybe even someone like Lincoln Riley out of Oklahoma. I'm not saying Lincoln Riley himself, but someone who's young like that, kind of to do the same thing that Cliff Kingsbury did going into Arizona, where he's young, he's offensive minded, he's a big name in college, and he's completely changed the culture down in Arizona. And I think that's something that the Cowboys would have benefited from, bringing in someone like that. Mike Nolan's going to be gone too. If it's not Mike McCarthy, it's going to be Mike Nolan, because I don't know if his schemes are rocket science or what it is, but they just do not get it. They're horrible on defense. But yeah, I think at the end of the day, this all comes down to the coaching. And if Mike McCarthy's system is not clicking with the Cowboys, it doesn't matter what his resume looks like, because they don't want to play for him. They get on the field and they just let themselves lose. There is no fire, there's no drive there, and I think that's going to come down to McCarthy at the end of the day and at the end of the season. I think McCarthy is in jeopardy right now, and I really would not be surprised to see him out of a job come, the end of regular season.
See, and I see that, but like you said, it comes down to all the coaches. I don't think one coach, as Mike McCarthy, can affect the whole entire team, the defense not wanting to get out there and play. Or the offense, you have a good point that, like, of course, if my coach isn't pushing me to do better or be better, I'm not going to want to be better. However, Mike McCarthy needs the time to build a good coaching staff around him, and hopefully that will play into the players. So that's offensive coordinators and defensive coordinators, to give them that extra push that they need.
Yeah, I think especially if the Cowboys are unable to win the NFC East, like if the team that wins the NFC East gets like 6 wins on the season and it's not the Cowboys, that's even worse for McCarthy.
Yes.
So really, I think how it's going to go the rest of the season and how the Cowboys play, let's see if they can surpass the Eagles, who seem to be picking up a little bit of steam.
Definitely.
I think depending on how the NFC East ends and how the season ends, that is McCarthy's fate in the air.
Yes, they have. Like I said, I think I'm giving the Cowboys 2 more games to win, and that's against the New York Giants and maybe the Bengals, and even that is terrible to say.
Yeah, but
that could be 2 wins.
But it'll be interesting to see for sure, and I think regardless of what happens, it'll be a great, fun thing to watch,
Yes.
see what happens to Mike McCarthy's career. But we're going to throw it over to a commercial. Thanks for sticking with us.